So for those that haven't been for a while or that haven't never been to one of these calls before, we do this every week on Zoom on a Friday morning at 9:30. We've been doing them since February 2020, so we've done about 250 of these calls now, maybe a few more than that now, and just a really good chance to find out what's going on in the county and find out who's doing what issue things coming up. And I just try and, sometimes people think that I planned this call really carefully, so there's a theme, and occasionally a theme emerges, but often it's not. It's just stuff that comes my way or that I find or that I look and see that looks intriguing. And I'd say this morning is no different to that. So we record these calls. As I said, you can watch them again. And this morning we are going to hear from Matt Sharman and Don Bush, who are both there with us at the moment, who are both filmmakers and have made a beautiful film, which I'm not going to tell you about because they're going to tell you about it. But in essence, it's about Mount Everest and the history of Mount Everest and who took photographs a long, long time ago, and could we find them again? Simon Sylvester has also been involved in that project as well, and we've got a beautiful couple of clips to watch and some beautiful stills as well. So you can have a look at that. We're going to hear from Camille, who's gone grey. She's gone to a grey box on my screen. I don't know what she's gone to on yours, but there she is. She's gone black now, but hopefully she's still with us in East Yorkshire, originally from Barrow-in-Furness, as we've all just found out. She works with the Royal Opera House and is bringing a CPD event to Tully later this month. And we're going to find out a bit more about that. And again, I've got a little clip to watch and some slides for that too. And then we're going to be joined a bit later on by Chanel Adair, who is an artist, a self-taught artist from, I think it's Workington, somewhere in West Cumbria. And we're going to just see some of her work and find out her story as well. So that's the eclectic selection. That is a smorgasbord of delights here for you this Friday morning on the Cumbria Arts and Culture Network call. And we'll also do a final plug for the big meet, which is taking place at Tully in Carlisle on the 14th of February, which is a week tomorrow. I think we've shifted about 50, 55 tickets for that so far. So we've got space for a few more. And we'll tell you a bit more about that at the end of this call as well. So maybe sometimes we might meet in the flesh in 3 dimensions in Smell-O-Vision next Saturday as well. Just to say, last week we were in Barrow for this call. I was at Theatre Factory at Signal Film and Media on Cook Studios on Abbey Street, or was it Road?
Right.
Street. Abbey
Right.
Road, is it? Is it
Yeah.
Abbey Road?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's Abbey Road, where we had just a really good time and went to see some amazing theatre, well, kind of musical theatre, really, and also went to Fon, Full of Noises. If you've never been to Fon's HQ, it's in Barrow Park, and it's like the old park keeper's house, and it's absolutely beautiful. They got some money a few years ago to build a sort of a kind of space, I suppose, to show things and showcase things and have a platform for music and film. I'm just thinking of filmmakers on this call. If you've not been to Fon in Barrow, find out all about that. Go and say hello to them. Dickie does all the comms for them. And it is run, of course, by
Glenn Balter.
Glenn. Glenn, who's also lovely. And they also take cooking. They take cooking really seriously at Fon. So if you ever go there, there's always nice coffee and biscuits. But often, Andrew used to run Fon, so he knows all about this. And probably the cooking culture came from Andrew. I don't know.
No, it
But
was
Andrew,
there. It was there from the start, but it sort of came via Art Jean and Grisdale, who
okay.
also put food at the centre of what they do. So we sort of inherited it a bit, but we did it from the start. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Amy obviously loves her cooking as well, and she was cooking some amazing stuff for that show that evening. So there's a whole cooking culture thing going on at Fon as well. I love Fon. Fon is great. Go and see Fon next time you're in Barrow. Right. Well, let's kick off then. We're going to hear from Matt and Dom. So if you'd like to come off mute, Matt and Dom, and introduce yourselves. And Iona's got your images and your 2 clips as well. And just tell us the story about what you do and what you're doing. And obviously the film's been shown already, but it's just starting its journey of festival shows, and it's coming to Kendal again soon. So floor is yours, Dom. Why don't you start, Dom, first of all, and then Matt chip in as and when you do it as a double act.
Cool. Yeah, so my name's Don Bush. I live in Kendal. I'm North Cumbrian originally, so I lived in Carlisle for quite a long time. Grew up in the hills. I'm a documentary maker. and have run a documentary, well, a production company since 2011, and we specialize in documentary style films. So that could be independent, social and environmental documentary, but we also work with brands and organizations and NGOs and businesses. And I'm also a photographer. I have a long love, deep passion of traditional photography. And that's probably about it. Matt,
That's far from it. I
what?
think there's much more to reveal, but
There's more.
let's
Really?
keep it there. Yeah, my story's pretty similar to Dom. I'm a local person. I live just outside Penrith. I've been making films for, I don't know, 15 odd years, something like that. There's two sort of key aspects to my work. One looks quite hard at research and science and academic progress. So using film to share knowledge, to expand ideas, to offer messaging to those that often find that type of activity not that easy. A lot of academic work is quite siloed, and there's an isolation to that. And my skill set breaks down those barriers a little bit at times, and brings this information to people in ways that are accessible and easy to understand. So that's one bit, and the other bit is the sort of adventure side. So I make a lot of sort of mountaineering, climbing, wild places, documentary stuff, films, and also work for brands, you know, outdoor type stuff, Berghaus and people like that. So yeah, that's my stuff. Like creeping around with big rucksacks on, full of cameras. That's the sort of, in essence, that's the deal. Do you explain the film? It's absolutely marvelous,
Yeah.
by the way. What a piece of work. Tell us how it started, Dom.
Well, yeah. So, Tom, you introduced it as a film about Everest, which is not totally incorrect, but I guess Everest is kind of the first breadcrumb. That's where it began. But really, broadly, it's not about Everest itself. I mean, there's lots of stuff made about Everest. Um, it's about at its heart, it's about a pioneering chemist, kind of alchemist, mountaineer, adventurer, photographer called Vittorio Sella, who was operating in Italy in late 1800s. And he was like truly a pioneer in photography. So there's a kind of a dual narrative going on, which Matt can talk about part of that, but one big part of that is exploring Vittorio Sella's life and his legacy and these beautiful photographs that he took in the highest places on the planet at the time. Yeah. Matt, do you want to talk about your little adventure?
Sure, man. yeah. Well, yeah. Vittorio Sella is the beating heart of this film, as Don mentioned. Real sort of Renaissance man, and at that time, photography was very much in its infancy, and what he was asking of that medium was pretty unprecedented. You know, no one had done what he was doing or attempted to achieve what he was attempting with that type of equipment at that time. He was carrying 30-kilo cameras up onto the highest peaks in the Alps. Each glass plate, which he used to load into these cameras, they weighed just under 2 kilos each. He was an extremely accomplished mountaineer in his own right. Made the first winter ascent of the Matterhorn, the first winter traverse of Mont Blanc. But he was doing those things carrying massive amounts of equipment. So athlete, inventor, innovator, photographer, artist. I mean, genuinely inspirational character. And this guy began to become recognized for the caliber of the stuff he was producing in the high mountains of Europe. And as a result of that, he was invited onto an expedition by the preeminent British explorer of the day, a fellow called Douglas Freshfield, to travel to Nepal to make an attempt on the third highest mountain in the world, a peak called Kanchenjunga. In the east of Nepal, it borders, it sits on the border between eastern Nepal and Sikkim in India. Weather conditions on that expedition, when I say expedition, it's not like you just sort of swan off to the hills for a couple of weeks and have a jolly old time. This was approximately 7 months. It took 2 months just to get to the point where you begin to walk, to make this attempt on the mountain. Weather conditions prevented any sensible attempt to climb it. And secretly at the time, Vittorio Sella was rather thrilled by this development because it freed him up and gave him lots more time to focus on the photography that he was trying to create in those places. Now, in 1899, this was Vittorio Sella took a panorama from somewhere on the slopes of Kanchenjunga. So 4 shots stitched together from somewhere around sort of 5,000 meters. And it looked across at the Himalayan skyline, and the mighty sort of peak of Janu is on the right of the image. And towards the left, a blurry sort of smudge about 90 kilometers distant is Mount Everest. And this is the first ever photograph of the highest mountain on Earth. Now, we knew as Europeans that it was there, and we knew it was the highest, but no one had seen it. And Vittorio Sella returned from those expeditions with the visual proof, if you like. And knowing is one thing, but we are a visual species. You know, sight is the dominant sense. So to bring that into a sort of visual reality for Sella was very much what motivated him. He wanted to bring back something of the awe and drama and connection and commitment he felt in those places back home to
see a clip
yeah,
there's a clip, isn't there, Dom? I'm not sure which is the one that it's called, but of that panorama being recreated or being rediscovered.
Yeah, there is. Is it worth sharing some images?
Yeah, let's have a look at some
So you
shots.
could
Let's do the
start.
images first. Okay.
You could start with the first photograph, and I'll talk a little bit more specifically about the film that we made. So I've done quite a bit of work in the past for the Alpine Club, the British Alpine Club, and the Mount Everest Foundation. And I was handed this photograph that Matt mentioned, the panorama, which you can see here laid out on a table in the Alpine Club. And it just kind of blew my mind a little bit as a lover of photography and a mountaineer myself. Just to be holding the first ever photograph of Mount Everest was like, wow, that's really cool. And somewhere on a shelf in my brain, I kind of logged this idea of making a film about that. And a documentary fund came up that seemed appropriate with Kendal Mountain Festival, and we basically won money to make this film. So we set off on this journey, Matt and I and Simon, to tell the story of this photograph, but also of Vittorio Sella. Do you want to next slide, Iona, please? So we wanted to recreate the photograph. Basically, we thought, well, why don't we retrace Sella's steps and understand what it took to get there? But if we're going to recreate the photograph, we're not going to recreate it on a digital camera because that just seems, easy. So we took a 4x5 large format film camera, and this is our friend Hamish Frost, who came on the journey with us basically. And we're in the Highlands there, up in Glencoe, on a very, very wet hillside, trying to learn how to use this 4x5 camera because none of us had used one before. Iona, next slide, please. And Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about meeting Pietro, and then we
Sure.
could show that first clip?
Yeah. I mean, part of the motivation, in a way, around the large format photography was to honour Vittorio Sella's process, in a way. If you want to understand what he achieved and what it took to do it, then to learn to use the sort of kit, not identical stuff by any means, but the sort of kit that he was tangling with in those environments, felt like a real way to sort of deepen your understanding, to sort of get to grips with exactly who he was and how he achieved what he did. And it revealed in a lot of ways how what an innovator he was. It is hard to do this stuff in the sorts of environments that he was doing it, and that part of the story that the film tells is that challenge, but a more rewarding experience as a result. So yeah, sorry, but let's look at this shot here. So the gentleman on the right is a chap called Pietro Sella. Now he lives in a place called Biella in northern Italy, and he is Vittorio Sella's great grandnephew. Now Pietro is the head of the Sella Bank. He runs the family business. They're a major family in that part of the world, but he's also a mountaineer and a photographer himself, and he very kindly agreed to talk to us about the photographic legacy that runs through his family, his mountaineering stories, and what he understood about Vittorio. He was really generous with his time. It was one of those circumstances, and I don't know, you might have felt this, other fellow creatives out there, that the strength of the idea can sort of generate its own momentum at times. And I know no one in northern Italy, but I spoke to a few pals who are based in France. They put me in touch with another couple of creatives who are based in Italy, who introduced me to a New York-based neurosurgeon who collects Vittorio Sella's work, and that neurosurgeon then introduced me to Pietro Sella, and he forms a really sort of central part of the film. You feel the sort of time dissolve between Vittorio and Pietro, his descendant, but the passion they feel for the mountain environment and creating really rather spectacular imagery as a result. Pietro Alves, he used a lovely phrase in the interview that didn't actually make the cut in the film in the end, but he refers to Vittorio's photographic approach as being one of consciousness and intimacy with the environment that he was exploring. I thought that was rather beautiful. And the other bit that stood out for me, and this did make the film actually, but Vittorio, because he was sort of making bespoke camera equipment to achieve what he was trying to achieve, he was corresponding with a London-based camera maker at the time to get the sort of kit that could create the images in this environment. And he wrote to them saying, please make haste with this construction because I burn with desire to undertake photographic excursions, which I thought was a lovely phrase actually, and I felt that pretty strongly myself.
Should we play that clip, Matt?
Yeah, why not, man? Yeah, cool.
Thanks, Iona.
Well, Iona works hard behind the scenes to get the clip lined up.
Nice one, Iona.
It's lovely when you meet a relative of somebody that you want to find out about. It's fantastic.
Oh,
Right, here
Tom,
we go.
it was such a special conversation, that. Yeah, really lovely.
Ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Vittorio was the brother of my grandfather. I always felt this incredible spirit of exploration, a great mountaineer and a great photographer. The target he was giving to himself were absolutely incredible if you come back to those days, because you must remember he started with glass plates, very heavy camera, doing personally all the chemistry that was needed to put on the glasses to be exposed to the images and then to develop it later on, and doing all those things by himself. Often he had to start at 3 a.m., maybe 5,000 meters, go up in dark, with 30 kilos, reaching the right point at the exact moment the light was good. The kind of view it was bringing back was a mountaineering view. And the mountaineering would have not been so intense without the picture. So he wanted to bring back a picture, and he wanted to be in those places. It is a way to live. It's a way to live photography, it's a way to live mountain.
So, yeah, in terms of our kind of filmmaking journey, we had this amazing experience at the Sella Foundation in Italy, and they were really, really welcoming. And so yeah, we'd come from the lakes where both me and Matt are based, and then up to Scotland and the Highlands, and then we went to Italy to meet the Sella family, and then basically Matt as an expedition expert had planned this expedition in Nepal, and unfortunately I couldn't go because of family stuff. I had a young baby and things, so it didn't work out for me to go to Nepal, which was disappointing. But Matt and Hamish flew out to the Himalayas basically to retrace Sella's steps and find this specific spot. So I think, Iona, we might have another photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what's coming next.
Surprise.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that is the south face of Kanchenjunga in the background. So that's the third highest mountain in the world. Kanchenjunga has it's yeah, the treasures of the five treasures of the snows. So it has five separate summits effectively, and this 8 mile long ridge. I mean, you can't tell from that photograph, but it's 8 miles long. It's absolutely astronomically big in mountain terms. And that's Matt with the Chamonix 4x5 camera on this little outcrop. And so the person that replaced me, Matt Hardy, went out as a cinematographer and took this beautiful photograph, which has kind of ended up as like the standout photograph of the digital photograph of the expedition, I guess.
Some of my stuff's all right though.
It's all right. So I don't know whether we mentioned, but we wanted to alongside the film, because we knew we were gonna have a premiere at Kendal Mountain Festival, and they had an exhibition space. And because it's a film about photography, we thought, well, it'd be amazing if we had an exhibition and a documentary that work together. And actually, if you see the film, you'll see us working on the exhibition as well. So it's this kind of slightly meta narrative where we're creating an exhibition within the film. And one of the things that I'm most proud of, I think, as somebody who's passionate about photography, is that within the film we have these dual narratives, one about Sella, one about Matt and Hamish and Matt going to the Himalayas, and then another one which basically traces the whole process of traditional photography. So we receive a brand new camera in a box, learn how to put it together, learn how to load the negs, measure light, get it set up, take the photograph, and then afterwards we develop the negatives, where this is where a lot of the jeopardy lies within the film. You know, will this work? Will it not work? And then we worked with Rob Serra at the University of Cumbria in Carlisle. So I studied at Brampton Road. I'm an alumni of University of Cumbria. And Rob had a 20-year career in darkroom printing before he became the course leader at Brampton Road of photography. So we worked really closely with the university and Rob to create this exhibition, and he hand printed. So the photographs that came from the Chamonix 4x5 that Matt took, including the panorama, Rob hand printed in the dark rooms at the University of Cumbria. So in the exhibition, we had very privileged access to some of Vittorio Sella's work, some beautiful digital photographs from the expedition, including this one that you see now, and then these really beautiful hand printed 4x5 traditional photographs. So it was quite a thing, really, and they worked beautifully together. People could go to the festival and watch the film and go and see the exhibition and see how they interacted.
In the interest of time, Dom and
Yeah,
Matt,
go on.
we've got sort of 5 minutes left. I'd
Yeah.
love to show the clip of you. I don't know who it is. Is it you, Matt?
Matt, yeah.
Working out whether the panorama that you've got in your hand is the panorama that you can see before you. It's a beautiful clip. Could we just watch that one? And perhaps you might just talk us through what's going on there. Okay. So
I think Matt's talking in the clip,
Okay,
so
okay,
we'll let it
yeah.
play, and then we can maybe just close off after that.
We've been looking for the exact location from which Vittorio took the first ever photograph of Everest. You've got to get
This is the Everest group, by the
bang
way.
on and at the right height and in the right spot, so the shots look as identical as they can. We've been hunting around to try and find it. I was reminded of some of the stories Pietro was telling me about Vittorio. Not only was he sort of comfortable in this environment, he actively sought out exposed positions. I looked away to my left, and about 10-15 metres down from the ridge line was an exposed outcrop. I think it's down there. That looks like the sort of place Vittorio would take a picture from. And it fits, man. It's there.
Yeah.
Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about what was going on there? We've not got very much time left, but-
pretty conscious of time, but everybody here will know this. But you set off on these creative journeys, and Don mentioned the word jeopardy earlier, and that was coming at us in spades. Just there was no certainty as to where that location was. There was no certainty that we would get weather that was going to cooperate sufficiently to allow us to take a picture that needed, a 90-kilometer view. It was, if you keep pushing and keep trying, and you've got good people around you, and the support is there, stuff happens. It didn't roll out in the way we were expecting it to. Hamish had to be evacuated. We spent 10 days tent bound in Himalayan blizzards. It was falling apart quite comprehensively on a number of occasions, but it sort of evolved in a rather lovely way in the end. And I suppose I watched the film. It's a lovely story. It's a story about slowing down. It's a story about taking the time to notice, and it's a story about perhaps what we're losing in our fast-tracked, digitally generated world these days.
Let's talk about practicalities. It's a thing of great beauty. I know it's shown. Someone was just asking. Helen was asking, "Do you have a distributor?" And Dom's just put a reply there. And no, any. It is being shown, isn't it? Quite soon somewhere in Cumbria.
Yeah, so we've got a screening in the Brewery Arts in February, later in February. I can't remember exactly the date.
13th.
13th.
Yeah.
And then it's going to London to the Alpine Club. There's a showing in Colbeck, actually. So both my dad lives in Heskin Newmarket, and I grew up in Ireby. And Matt lives close by. So that's our original neck of the woods. So it's showing in the hall in Colbeck as part of the London Mountain Film Festival, ironically. And then there will be other screenings after that, but we haven't worked that out just yet. Independent cinemas will be great. Ultimately, we would love the idea if a channel wanted to take it on, a distributor, Italian TV wanted to buy it, then that would be amazing. But we'll see.
this thing, you know, if anyone's got any questions, fire away. There must be a labour of love. I don't know how long this has been in gestation. You talked, Dom, about having an idea many years ago, I think, for this film. But to sort of see it come to fruition, must be, you know, must be a beautiful moment for you all. I mean, I know, Simon, you've been involved in all this as well.
Let's hear from Si.
Yeah, I've been involved from quite early on as an editor and writer and producer. I've loved working on this. It's been one of the best things I've made. It's been 2 years that we've been working on this, and there's so much to say, you know, that the guys haven't had a chance to mention that the exhibition we put on, we believe that was the first time Cellar has ever had a proper gallery exhibition in the UK ever. And it just so many things about going to Nepal and the size of the Himalayas and understanding that you're looking for literally a few square meters to set that tripod up. Just the sense of the journey and the mission to find it. And then, as so many of us have concerns about AI and all the rest of it, to just do something analog and slow and careful. It's a really special film. Yeah.
The thought that came through my head was when you take the images, when you're out there, you clearly, I guess you know, am I being stupid? You don't develop them until you get back, you know, so you don't know whether it's worked.
Yeah.
And Matt went through about 12 odd security checks with X-ray machines, which could have destroyed all of the film. It was, you know, it was really scary. We had no idea whether, and you know, there's lots of elements that you can work into the right into the narrative, like Hamish getting helicoptered out of the Himalayas. That's pretty cool for the film. Not having any photographs because all of your negatives are destroyed by an X-ray machine, it kind of scuppers the whole thing. So, yeah, lots of jeopardy.
Well, it looks beautiful, and I can't wait to see it somewhere, probably in Cumbria, at some stage in the next few weeks or months. Thank you so much for sharing it with us this morning. I love it. There's two lovely clips as well, and those images really bring it to light. So, congratulations, Matt, Dom, Simon, anyone else connected to it, and it's been an absolute privilege to see it this morning. Some little chat about distribution going on in chat there. I know Helen's a very experienced filmmaker and has connections all over the place as well. So if we've made a few connections on this call as well, even better, to help you find a bit of distribution. But thank you ever so much for sharing that with us this morning. And
Amazing.
Dom, looking forward to, if you come to the big meet a week tomorrow, did I mention that before? Dom will be there as well to talk about the film in a little bit with a bit more time, and also talk about the whole mechanics of how do you actually get this project off the ground, because the big meet is all about uncovering the culture sector and how it actually works in this part of the world. So we'll hear more insights as well from Dom a week on Saturday. Right, well, let's move on. Thanks ever so much. Kate says, when can we see it in Colbeck? Anyone know?
No, I'll find that out and
Find that out
will
before
put
the
it
end
in
of
the
the call.
chat in a
Pop it in the
second.
chat. Yeah, okay, smashing. Right, we're going to switch our thoughts now to a bit about, again, about learning CPD and actually how do you get perhaps younger people intrigued and engaged with the creative sector. So Camille, if I can switch to you now, and we've got your slides and a bit of film here. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, where you're coming from and what's going on in Cumbria in a couple of weeks' time.
Will do. Thanks so much, Tom. Brilliant. Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm Camille Malawi, and I'm an interim National Schools Partnerships Manager at Royal Ballet in Opera. And I'm really delighted to be with you today. And it was so fantastic hearing from Matt, Dom and Simon. I feel totally inspired by the film and seeing those amazing photographs, actually. It's brilliant. So this leads in a little bit, that sense of, you know, getting away from AI and the digital world and being more practical. But of course, you might think actually of the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden when you think RBO. But we are actually a truly national organisation. We work all over the country, and a lot of this is through our schools programme, where we offer free teacher CPD through the art forms of dance, singing and design, right through from key stages 1 to 5. So you can have the next slide, please. Thank you. So the RBO schools programme, it's free, it's award-winning, and it's national curriculum led. and it offers training resources and experiences through ballet, opera and design to empower teachers and inspire children to embrace their own creativity. It's really important not just to build future audiences, of course, but to actually inspire children to have that involvement in the arts, and also to see what opportunities there might be for them as well. I could have slide 3, please. So our programme is divided into 3 strands: create and sing, create and dance, and create and design. And I'm here to let you know about the day that we're going to be leading in partnership with Tully Museum in Carlisle. Obviously, lots happening over there at the moment. And this is on Thursday, the 26th of February. And we have four different parts to our work: the CPD, online resources, live lessons, and also school matinees where children come from all over the country to the Opera House to see performances. But let me tell you a little bit more about Create and Design. It's a hands-on design skills programme, and it supports pupils' creative problem solving. It develops empathy, builds careers understanding, and the connections between STEM and the arts. And it's designed for schools to embed into their existing art and DT curricula, and it can also be applied for high quality active learning across the whole subject spectrum as well. We really want to widen access to the arts and diversify the talent, build that creative confidence for both teachers and their students as well. So slide 4, please. Thank you. This just gives you the details of our day over at Tully, and perhaps Tom and Iona might be able to send the slides through later. And the booking link is here, but I can also send that through as well. You can also access our website, rbo.org.uk, and then there's the schools strand. Just click on that, and then teacher CPD. And there's lots of CPD going on all around the country. So please do book onto whatever might be most suitable and convenient for you. Thank you. If I could have slide 5. So really, if you have any interest in design, this CPD is absolutely for you. It's no prior experience is needed, and CPD is accredited, so it all adds to your own skill development. It's suitable for primary, secondary, and SEND students. We've also been developing sensory resources as well, which have been aimed primarily at non-verbal PMLD and SLD learners as well. Thank you. If I could have slide 6. So we introduced the building blocks of design through class activities, which are fully supported by comprehensive online resources. And our pedagogy also links across the curriculum with oracy and literacy, because we just really believe, I'm sure I'm talking absolutely to the converted here, that of course practical learning is the best way. It leads to internalisation and therefore retention of information. And this, of course, feeds directly into the fact that we want children to rely perhaps on screens a little bit less, play and move more, whilst also engaging and learning. Thank you. If we could have slide 7. Of course, it's all very well me blathering on, but let's hear what some teachers say about the CPD and what happens there.
I just have to do a wee screen shuffle.
No problem.
2 seconds.
We're getting our money worth out of Iona today.
Yeah, I know, yeah, sweating.
It's essentially an opportunity to engage with teachers and encourage them to use set design as a vehicle for teaching creative thinking.
It's about building their confidence, it's about engaging with local schools and making sure that it fits in with their curriculum.
It was really easy to sign up. My head teacher told me about it. She said it would be good for me and obviously beneficial for our school as well.
The fact that it's free, it's just a no-brainer to take part really. It's going to be hugely beneficial to the children.
Also at the end of the year when we do our production, some of this will help to perfect that and make that bigger and better.
Thanks, Iona.
Sorry.
Great, so we can go straight into slide 8 whenever you're ready. Thank you.
I like a bit of opera in the morning just to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Absolutely. And I've seen a little bit from that CPD, so it's not just sitting at tables and designing. We get everybody doing practical things as well to really think about perhaps how stories are told through, and how you can create that through design. So this just gives an overview of what we can offer. Our resource provides 5 lesson schemes of work, which are based on existing repertoire. So for design, we focus on the ballets, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the Nutcracker and the Winter's Tale, and then also the operas, Magic Flute and the Barber of Seville. These resources cover Key Stage 1 to 5. There are lesson plans complete with step-by-step whiteboard presentations, demonstration videos, all based on the building blocks of design, really scaffolding that process for you, which we can hope to make things as easy and straightforward for you as possible. Lessons also come with curriculum links and how you might be, if you're a teacher, you can incorporate it into your mid and long-term planning through curriculum maps as well. We realise how teachers in particular are just very time poor these days, and the arts is given a very small amount of time in teacher training, so we really want to be as helpful and constructive as possible, whilst also being totally flexible, so that teachers can use them absolutely off the shelf, as it were, or adapt them as they need for their learners. As I mentioned before, we do also have sensory resources as well for our dance and sing programs. We haven't yet brought out the design strand, but we are working on that at the moment. And again, this has been designed with non-verbal PMLD learners in mind. But again, the resources, both the more mainstream resources, if you like, and the sensory resources can be adapted to really suit the learners. So you'll see as well, we've got, as well as the CPD and the online resources, we also have live lessons every term, and where primary schools can join us for Everybody Make. Each term we also have Everybody Sing, Everybody Dance, and the design ones are happening on the 18th and 25th of March this term. The first one will focus on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and the second on Magic Flute. And this is a chance again for the Opera House designers to really take children backstage at the Opera House to show them the real workings of the theatre, and also talking to the performers, to the technical staff as well, to really give a good idea of what goes on there.
All right, Camille, I'm going to slightly be rude and cut across you, if I may.
No problem at all.
Because I wanted to leave Chanel enough time to tell us about her beautiful art. So just remind us of the date at Tully again. Are there still places available at Tully, do you know?
There absolutely are. Yes, we've had a good take up, but we'd love to see lots more people there as well. So it's Thursday, the 26th of February at Tully Museum. Again, the link is in there. We can share that with you afterwards, and also just through the RBO website as well, through Teacher CPD.
Okay, we'll get that into our newsletter for next week as well, and we'll put it on our socials.
Wonderful.
Because there's still a little bit of time to sign up for that. So we've got that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great, and thank you so much for. I mean, just a little film of teachers, I suppose, learning how to be practical and make things and have cardboard cutouts, all that sort of stuff. Is just the way forward, isn't it? And the idea.
It is, and it's just a slightly different slant, doesn't it, to perhaps what might be going on already.
Yeah, great. Thank you ever so much. And I'm just thinking about what inspired me to do the creative things in my life, and what was it at school. I'm sure other people are thinking about who was the person, or what was the activity that inspired us to be the people that we've turned out to be today. And I'm sure everyone will be connecting to that. Thank you very much indeed, Camille. And Chanel, you've joined us. Lovely stuff. Nice to see you. Chanel Adair is sitting there. Are you in Workington, Chanel? Remind me.
I'm in Workington, yeah.
I thought so. That's what I said to people before you arrived, and I got it right. Thank goodness for that.
You did.
So Chanel, is a self-taught artist, and we've got 8 slides of some of her work. And Chanel, I'm going to give you kind of about 10 minutes to talk to us about your journey to how you've got to where you are and what you're about as well. So if Iona pulls up your slides, I think the first one features you in it as well. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Morning, everyone. I've come on this morning to talk about how we can get our young people a little bit more creative and how I started being self-taught. So it all started in 23. I got pregnant with my first little baby girl, and I'd always been in an administration type role. And it was always kind of getting me stuck in that sort of left brain kind of thinking. And I would come home and then you would do your routine at home, go to bed, get up, go to work. And I felt like I could never really relax enough until I got pregnant, went on maternity leave, and it sort of gave me that opportunity to really slow down. As Matt alluded to earlier about slowing down, I think it's really important that we do in this sort of anxious, fast-paced world that we live in right now, because boredom, surprisingly, is actually the doorway to creativity. And I think when I went on maternity leave, it meant that I could just sit back and relax, and all of a sudden that right brain turned on, and I had this overwhelming sensation of paint. And that word kept coming back to me, paint. And I thought, this isn't going away. So I might as well go and get myself to the art shop, get myself some brushes and some paints, sit down and just have a little go, and no pressure on it or anything, just let myself get creative. And I found that I really enjoyed spending my days during maternity leave just painting and drawing and using my days up like in that way. And then 2 years later, it stuck with me. I got the bug, and I decided that I wasn't so fond of watercolors, so I would move on to hyperrealism portraits after that. But I found that although I enjoyed the portraits, it was leading me down a pathway of perfectionism, and it started to feel very unrelaxing. And art, I think, is supposed to be relaxing. So then I thought, well, why don't I move to canvas and splash some paints on there and just see what happens? And that's when I really sort of, it latched to me then. I was like, I really like this. And the ideas started flowing. And it really sort of left an imprint on me to paint. And I've carried on ever since. And it wasn't until sort of autumn last year where I started to consider I might turn this into my own little business here. After having several of my artworks in an exhibition in Keswick in a gallery called Ladstock, I got pregnant actually again, and I decided while I'm on maternity leave this time, I'll create myself a little art business, and that's exactly what I've done. So I've just sort of practiced, not really keeping any attachment to anything, and just really enjoyed the process. But in the meantime, I have looked into how can I put myself out there with having no prior knowledge or skills and bring myself out into the public eye and see if I can make a go at this, again, with having no prior knowledge. And there's a company called Cumbria Community Foundation that they award grants to creative individuals. So I applied for that, and I was very fortunate to be awarded the grant, and that allowed me to be able to get more materials, to build a website, and to get all the bits I needed to really get a small art business off the ground. And from there, I have sought out other companies like yourselves, like Cumbria Arts. So I've started looking into where are the areas around our own community where I can put myself out there. And that's sort of what's led me here today.
Well, we're all about spreading the word about what's going on in Cumbria, Chanel, in the creative sector and the art sector. And it's great to talk to you and listen to you. And, you know, Cumbria Community Foundation is a fantastic resource for helping people get things started. Sometimes you have to have a bit of a battle with them about how important the creative sector is, the cultural sector is to, you know, people's health, to people's well-being. But I think we're winning that battle slowly. In fact, the Cultural Fund was relaunched about a year ago now, and it's absolutely for things like this to help people get off the ground and start to do their own work and their own businesses. And you know, who's your market, Chanel? If I can use that dirty word, your market. Who buys your stuff? Who are you selling to?
My market seems to be, well, my theme is in sort of fantasy and folklore and mythology, but I do base it around themes of sort of self-help. So it's really a mixture of people who enjoy fiction, but also from the spiritual community as well, because I like my artwork to have messages in them to serve as reminders of healing and sort of coming back to yourself. And I think that's really important. It's sort of these days as well, where we are sort of battling with AI, and we want art. We want art more now, I think, than ever, possibly because of this shift with AI, but also mental health seems to be at the forefront of people's struggles as well. And I think mental health and art go hand in hand, and they're my two biggest passions. So I like to sort of combine those messages of healing and self-help within my artwork, within the theme that I enjoy.
Pete asks, Chanel, can you talk about the use of social media? I know you've got an Instagram account, which Ione has put up in chat. Is that an important part of your sort of, you know, how you let people know about what you're doing as well?
It is. I wish it wasn't, because I would have more time to paint, but this is sort of the world we are now. We've got to roll with what we have. So I do have an Instagram account where I put videos of me painting and the whole process from start to finish, close-ups, the final products, just little bits of information that I can hand out. And it also does help to be on other social media platforms, because each platform can do a different job and pull people towards your account. That and the website seem to provide enough reach.
Yeah.
So it is worth having those platforms. So I do tend to spend my time between painting and the marketing side and setting up the social media, so they have like a healthy flow. So that's nice. So you kind of get that balance between it's still creative when you're doing your social pages, because it's your words, you're expressing what you've created, and visually it's how you want it to set out and where you want it to go. And I think it lends itself to this day and age, because everything really is social media. It's just making sure that it's not all about that, and that you are spending the time to create.
Lots of warm words for you, Chanel, in chat. So when you get a second to have a look at chat.
Oh, thank you, everyone. That's
people
lovely.
enjoying what you're doing and respecting and congratulating you on what you've achieved as well.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for. I'm just conscious of time. Thank you ever so much, Chanel, for showing your work with us this morning. And congratulations on just getting it in place. And I'm sure the future is very bright for your work as well. And thank you very much for coming on the call this morning to share it. We'll just conclude this morning with just a word about the big meet. So this is taking place. This is focused, I suppose, if I'm honest with you, it's focused on people between about 18 and sort of 30-ish, I think is what we've put somewhere, close to 30. So this is a kind of step into the unknown for us, in as much as it's part of our See It to Be It initiative, which is all about helping young Cumbrians. And when we say young, we kind of mean, late teens, 20s, early 30s, to feel that there is a potential for them to be creative and to follow their creative dreams in Cumbria. They don't need to leave the county. They don't need to go and work at Sellafield. They don't need to work at BAE Systems. They can actually pursue their dreams here in Cumbria. And the whole point of this meeting is to demystify the culture sector. So lots of people talking about how they've done it themselves, but also practicalities about how do you run a business? Where do you get funding from? A little bit about marketing and some really basic stuff. And also just a chance for people to ask dumb questions, if I can put it like that. So in other words, any question is absolutely fine to ask. And hopefully there'll be someone in the room who can answer those questions. So it's Saturday, the 14th of February. It's all free. There's a nice bit of lunch being provided as well, which we're paying for Tully. And it's, I think, 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock is the timings of the meeting. So that is the plan. I'd say over 50 people are already signed up. But if you know, if it's you or if you know someone who you think might benefit from going to that, we've also got some bursaries of up to £30 to help people to get there if they're coming from far away. Obviously, Carlisle's got decent public transport connections, but if people need help to get there, we've got some bursaries to help them to do that too. So they just need to contact CACN to talk about that. So that's a week on Saturday at Tully. It is also Valentine's Day. So, you know, if you're otherwise occupied, that's a good excuse not to come, I suppose. But we kind of think we're leaving the evening free for you to go and have your candlelit meals with your loved one in the evening. But you can come and get fired up by coming to the big meet at Tully, first of all. And it's going to be hopefully a very nice day. And a great part of it all is just about the networking. So it's a bit like these calls every week. You might meet someone, you might find someone who might help you get on in what you're trying to do. The big meet is a chance to do that, but face to face as well. So that is a week on Saturday. Thank you very much, Iona. We can lose that slide now. Lovely. Well, listen, it's been a great call. Really interesting to hear from Matt and Dom and Si about that beautiful film, Colbeck. That's the one I'm headed for, I think, in March. But it's also elsewhere, and let's make sure it gets beyond Cumbria and into everybody to get a chance to see it everywhere. Lovely to hear from you, Camille, as well. Thank you. That event at Tully, still some places available there. And Chanel, congratulations on your beautiful art, and look out for Chanel's work, both on social media, on her website, and I'm sure in the real world as well. Next, so no call next Friday, because the day I'll be flat out sorting out the big meet. So there won't be a Friday call next week. There will be one the Friday after that. I can't remember what I got fixed up for that already, but there is some stuff fixed up for that already. Maybe see somebody at the big meet at Tully on Saturday, but we'll do a Friday call again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much to Iona as well for working very hard behind the scenes to make it all work. It's been quite a busy one this week. So have a nice weekend, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Catch you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.